So I'm a little bit colorful today.
Yay. Ooh, my colors. I like those.
Yeah. So today we are doing the mindset of entrepreneur, and at the end I'm gonna tell you how to put your idea as a business concept. Because whatever happens, and this is how I want to start. I want to tell you that I have known people, like in one of my classes, I had a student that, I'm not kidding you, for 25 years, she will have a new idea after a new idea after a new idea, and then she done nothing with them for 25 years. And she would say, she told me that, and I would see someone doing this idea and all of a sudden making money. And I said, darn it, I had that idea. You know what? If you don't execute your idea, it will live and die on the island of ideas. Whenever you have an idea, you have to execute it right away. There is no perfection in this world. Remember, you can thrive to excellence, but you can never perfect anything from the get-go, because perfection by definition means that you need to release something to perfect it. Perfections come from procrastination, and procrastination is rooted in fear. So this is, okay, I guess, yeah, if we can all mute ourselves, that would be great. So this is what we need to think about. It just like, perfection doesn't exist, but for an idea to see the light, you have to release it. You have to. And I have been talking to people since the beginning of this crisis of the COVID-19 or Corona, and I have been telling them what to do, and very few people have been actually doing something. It's just like they are absorbing all these ideas and asking for help and stuff, but they're not doing anything about it. And that's why ideas will die on the island of ideas. So your idea, and only when you execute it, you're going to know if it's good or bad, or if you can make it better, improve it. So we're going to discuss a little bit of that stuff today. So all businesses start with a dream. But it takes more than ideas to actually achieve your goals. People have this idea of becoming entrepreneurs, or they want to be entrepreneurs for a lot of reasons, and they're all valid. So some of them look at entrepreneurs like on TV and they think it's glamorous, and it's just like, I can do this, I can be my own boss, and I work my own hours, and I can set whatever the way I want to set, and I can be a millionaire in 6 months, and guess what? It doesn't really work that way. Hi, Brenda. So it doesn't, so you have an idea as entrepreneurs. Yes, you can have many, many reasons of why you are starting your business. And it's fine as long as it pushes you to start a business. All the reasons are valid as long as they are yours. But it's most importantly that you need to know what's your own story. Because at the end, your uniqueness or your unique selling proposition is going to be in your own story, because no one else has your story. And that's why we need to get in touch with our core to know what is our story that we want to share, that is our uniqueness. So I'm going to ask you to follow up on this. The entrepreneurship is a learned ability. That means that being an entrepreneur is not in our DNA. It's like we're not born with genes that are entrepreneurs, but it's something that we learn as we go, right? The most important learning ability of an entrepreneur is what Ibn Pagan calls the speed of implementation. And this coincides with what I'm telling you. Like, people have been talking about ideas and what should I do, and then they ask questions, and they keep saying, okay, you know what should I do? And then you tell them what to do, and then they don't do it. They don't follow through. So the speed of implementation, meaning that whenever you learn something, you go ahead and implement it right away for two reasons. One of them, to see if it works or it doesn't work. And the second thing, the best way to learn something is actually to practice it. So if I'm trying to learn something new or change something on my website or change something that is techie, and I'm not a techie, and I have like a YouTube video that is teaching me, on the other window on my laptop, I open a new page and I implement step by step. This way I can get it and I can learn it in a practical way. So all of us as entrepreneurs, we have very unique set of skills and of talents and mindset that can actually create that success. Like I said, we learn as we go, you know, so that's why as entrepreneurs, we always need to be very pay attention to the environment around us, because it's only through paying attention that we can start to understand what are the needs or what is missing in the market or what are my clients looking for. And like I said, the best skill of an entrepreneur is the speed of implementation. So please, 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 whatever you're learning from anyone, go ahead and apply it and look for yourself if it works for you or it doesn't work for you. You learn something, you apply right away. Especially if you have a good idea, please don't let it die. Because people that started with small ideas are millionaires and billionaires like now from little ideas. I mean, I don't know if any of you watches the Shark Tank. And we see that some ideas, and we look at them and like, really? And then they end up being picked up by one of the sharks, and they become a multi-million business overnight. And that's what I'm saying. Try whatever idea you have. Of course, do your research and do your competitive analysis, but it's important that you follow up on your dream and on your ideas, because an idea alone is not going to bring you success. So I want you to take a minute and write down, either in the chat or write down on the paper or whatever you have in front of you. Why do you want, or are you an entrepreneur? Whoever was in my previous webinars, I really stress on the point to say, why are you doing what you're doing? Your why is what will drive you to push forward. Okay, Leslie says it's impact. Why do you want to be an entrepreneur? Or why are you an entrepreneur? Take a minute. And we need to think about that. Beside wanting to make money. Why make a difference? Yes, Brenda, absolutely. Mike, I'm an entrepreneur. My purpose is to be of service. Jacqueline is innovation. Yes. Chandra is love creating and giving people something they need in a sustainable way. Victoria, I want to change people's perspective of life and show them they can achieve anything in them. And when I'm reading, Cheryl is share knowledge. When I'm reading this, all what I'm reading is that all of you want to be of service. And this is like the highest level on the Maslow triangle. This is the highest level of the best reason why you want to be an entrepreneur, because you want to give. And it's important that you stay grounded in your why. You stay grounded in why are you doing what you're doing, because as entrepreneurs, we have our high moments and our low moments. So it's very important to hold on our why. So when we have the low points in our life as an entrepreneur, we don't give up, but we actually motivate ourselves to move forward, because we know the reasons why we are doing this. And this is our passion. And that's why I'm saying we need to know our why. So to succeed, there are a few points that as a character or as an entrepreneur, we need to have. Number one, have courage to explore your curiosity, because the more curious you are, the more you're going to explore new things, innovate, and create new things. I don't believe that curiosity killed the cat. I don't believe in that. I believe that curiosity leads you to success. So in order to work on our curiosity, we need to have that courage. We need to have that push, that oomph that leads us to say, okay, I'm curious about this. This is an idea. Let me see where it's going to take me. Number one. Number two, being hungry. We need to stay hungry, people. I mean, Les Brown says that all the time. Be hungry. That's how he says it. Meaning that you need to hustle all the time. As an entrepreneur, you are the only one that can bring money, or that can bring an idea, or can help people. And that's why you need to hustle all the time. Number three, self-aware. You need to know who you are from the inside out. You need to know who is your niche, who is your target audience. And you need to realize, and this is the most important thing, and this is one of the main pitfalls that I see in entrepreneurs, that they want to cast a net on everybody. So when I ask them, who is your audience? They say everybody, or all women, or all men, and it doesn't work that way. You have to be very specific on who you want your audience to be. Like I always say, riches in niches. So you have to be self-aware of who you are, who your niche is, and to realize that you're not jack of all trades. Jack of all trades is master of none. The more you niche your audience, the more you can command money, because you are seen as an expert. Number four, as entrepreneurs, we are all risk takers. Yes, we calculate the risks, but our livelihood depends on us taking decisions, sometimes on a dime. But we take that risk only, like we say, no risk, no gain. Number five, we have self-control. We are structured, we are self-disciplined, we are adaptable, and we are flexible to change per the market. Like most of us, and it's important that when we want to be flexible and adapt and change to the market, we need to do it when we are at our best condition, so we are not forced to do that. So I have been using Zoom for the last 3 years. I have been doing online presentations for the last 3 years. So when we were forced to shelter in place and to start doing online stuff, I was already in my comfort zone. And that's why you need to change, to adapt, to look at the market, to see what is needed when you are at your optimum level. So you are not forced to do something and do it quick, and it doesn't become as well as you want it to be. Number six, we need to have a mental strength, meaning that we need to know what brings us stress and what releases stress. Do we do meditation? Do we do deep breathing? Do we walk in nature? Do we exercise? What is it that we do that can release our stress? And we need, of course, to persevere and take initiatives as we go. So there are 10 mindsets that throughout the years I found out were the most important one for an entrepreneur. Yes, entrepreneurship looks glamorous, but it comes with a price tag of hard working. And I prefer to say smart working, but in smart working, we still need to work hard. And I prefer smart working than hard working, but we still, again, need to work hard. So let's start with the mindset. Mindset number one, and I call it money what? Meaning that we need to get comfortable with money. Talking about money, sharing your rates, and sometimes not having money at all and be comfortable with it specifically in the beginning and keep moving forward. There are many cultures, like I come from a culture where it's a shame to talk about money. And in the beginning of my own business, I had a problem telling people what my rates are, because I felt like, oh my God, what if they're gonna think it's too much? And I was like, trying to make myself smaller and maybe give them lower rates. And I'm gonna share a story with you. When I first started, I sent a proposal to a government agency. Like right now, 90% of my accounts are government. So when I started, I sent a rate to a government agency. And my husband works for a government agency. And he looked at it and he goes like, they're not going to pick you up. And I'm like, why are you saying that? He goes, because your rates are too low. And I'm like, no, of course, because they're low so they can pick me up. So they can see that I can offer value for like really low rates. And he said, this is not how they look at it. They look at low rates like you don't know what you're doing. And that's why you are not charging enough. And guess what? They did not pick me. And it was a hard lesson to learn. And from then I started it was very uncomfortable in the beginning to raise my rates and to tell them, this is what I do. And I have a lot of people that, can you give us a discount? And I'm like, sorry, I don't give discounts. So this is something that I need to tell you. Please never discount your rates. I rather do something free than discounting the rates. Discounting the rates, you are minimizing your brand. And if someone cannot afford you, they are not your client. Of course, as long as you're not putting like 10 times whatever everybody else is asking, okay? But if someone cannot afford your rates that you worked really well, they are not your clients. Move on. So coming from a culture where I had shame to talk about money, I had to train myself step by step. Till now, I don't have a problem asking for my rates. And if someone tells me, oh, you are expensive, I tell them, guess what? I'm worth it. So we need to start getting familiar with talking about money, and we need to change our relationship with money. That's mindset number one, and it's huge. Number two, toot your own horn, because guess what? No one else will do it for you. Branding is bragging. And if you do not tell people what is it that you do, no one will say anything about it. So it's part of the gig to toot your own horn. And storytelling is what people remember. So whatever you want to do, put it in a story that relates to you, because that's also puts a very clear message on who you are, what you do, and it clarifies also your uniqueness. So toot your own horn. But like, for example, go on social media when you do something, and don't go on social media saying like, oh, I'm great, get my services. And it sounds very salesy, but you can go by saying, like today, for example, I can go on LinkedIn and say, I just finished doing a webinar about mindset of entrepreneurs, hashtag entrepreneurial mindset. And I had such a great audience that it pumped me up for the rest of the day. So I'm telling a story, but I'm also letting people know what I do. At the same time, I'm not telling them, hey, look at me, I'm the best. I'm putting a story. So that's what I'm trying to say by storytelling. Number three, light your own fire. Meaning you are the only one that can motivate yourself. You are, as entrepreneurs, we are self-starters and self-motivators. There is no security blankets. So it depends on us to keep pushing ourselves, wake up every morning and do something new, or at least do something no matter how small it is. It's our own motivation that is going to move us forward. You can only depend on you. And like I said, when you know your why, it will take you through your ups and your downs. Number four, say goodbye to 9 to 5. It's not going to happen. And hello to 10 to 12 hours daily, specifically in the beginning. I remember the first year, I worked 7 days a week, between 12 and 16 hours a day. So the first year, or when you start, you're not going to be in control of your schedule, but after that you will be. Now I put my own hours. I don't work weekends. I don't work at night unless it's an emergency. So just put in your mind that if you are starting, you're going to put a lot of hours. But remember, this is your investment. This is your capital. You are bartering your hours to income in the future. So you need to build the foundation of your business, and it has to be a very strong foundation in the beginning. And that's why, and I always say that, slow down to go fast. In the beginning, you need to slow down to get your foundation set, to get your house in order so you can move fast later on. Give the sizzle, never the steak. And whoever has worked with me before knows that I always say that. So when I started the business, someone asked me for a proposal. And in the proposal, I sent like 15 pages of details on how I'm going to handle the project, with very fine details, with operational details, because I didn't know better. And I wanted to impress them. You know what they did? They took the proposal and they applied it themselves, and I was never hired. So it taught me a great lesson, that when I send a proposal, I send it in broad brushes, painting brushes, that I put huge details, big details without going, big items without going into details. So you must be able to quantify the value that you're going to provide, right? So you give broad strokes, highlighting basically the general guidelines of what you're going to offer them, so you can get them results rather than giving them the operational details. Always give the sizzle, get them excited, but never the steak. Number 6, trust in yourself, because you are it. You depend on you. And trust me, whenever you're going to start being an entrepreneur, everybody will come from the woodwork and tell you, you should do this, you shouldn't do that. So you're going to get, everybody around you will become an expert giving you an advice. And you will get all these unsolicited advices, because some people, believe it or not, even close to you, will reject what you're doing, because it's self-projection. Why? Because they always wanted to do something with their life and they never did, but you are taking that risk and moving forward. And some people will feel threatened that you're starting your business. These are not your people. Look for your tribe and get together. And that's what we're trying to build here, a tribe and a community that we all can elevate each other. Don't give up. Success can be just around the corner, because you're gonna have ups and downs, and it's gonna like really put you somewhere where you say, am I doing the right thing? Because the best thing, imposter syndrome as its best, just keep pushing forward. And that's why we are self-starters and self-motivators. Mindset number 7, you are your own brand. And please, another big pitfall that I see with entrepreneurs is that they hide behind their brand. Call it fear, call it not enough self-confidence. They hide behind their brand and they want to look like these big companies. You will be there one day, but you're not there yet. And people do business with people. Remember that, please. This is like crucial. People do not business with business. As human beings, we need to do business with human beings. So you as an owner, you need to let people know who you are, because people need to trust you. And because they trust you, they will do business with your business. It's not the other way around. So it's important, yes, to have a business brand, but also, what is your personal brand? You have to have a personal brand. Without it, people will not know who you are and will not even know why they should deal with you or with your business. Your brand will create your influence and your credibility. And this way, your audience will start trusting you. So you have the brand of the business and your own personal brands. They go hand in hand. Mindset number 8, you will never be everything to everyone. You will never be the cup of tea of everyone. Some people will love you. Like, I know for a fact, I go places and just by walking to the room, people just hate me or don't like me. And I have people that love me and they will like get into every single word that I say. And I'm good with both. You will never be the cup of tea with everybody. There is no way that you can be everything for anyone. And that's why I'm saying you cannot throw a net on every single person. Jack of all trades is master of none. And you have to have that confidence and be okay that some people will not like you. No matter how good you are, no matter what benefit they could get from you. And it has nothing to do with you. It's on them, it's not on you. Remember that. People usually reflect what they have inside of them on others because they are not in touch of who they are. And that's why some people never grow. So don't take it personal. And I know it hurts. I remember when I started training and we give evaluation, if someone will put like about me as a trainer, great material, whatever, but they put a problem was in the room because of the temperature, it was too cold or too hot, I wouldn't sleep for a week. And it had nothing to do with me. And I had to learn to let go. So whenever I go now, I know that some people will love me and some people won't. And I'm okay with that. As long as because you know why? Because I know my why. I know why I'm doing what I'm doing. And I know that if I touch one single person in whatever training or workshop or webinar that I'm doing, I did my job. How did I learn to let go? Well, I had to actually do a lot of meditation, and I had to journal my feelings. Like why I'm feeling that way, why I'm feeling rejected. Remember, we are all our 7-year-old. So I kept going back and I started thinking, oh, my parents wanted me to have always A+, that even A was not really acceptable. So I always had to show that I was good at what I do. So whenever someone would say something that the room is not good, I felt it like it was a reflection that I wasn't good enough. And I had to work with that. And I came through the other side, and it didn't happen overnight. Remember, change will never happen overnight. It takes time, but we need to have the will to work on it. Appearances matter. That's mindset number 9. Dress for success. You can never know who is in the room. So you always have to be prepared. Unfortunately, we live in a very superficial world. So people will judge you by the way you dress, by the way you talk, by the way you appear, by your posting on social media. And sometimes they even judge you by the car you drive. And that's how superficial we live in, you know. And so we need, at least, we don't have to wear Prada, like the devil wears Prada. We don't have to wear like designer clothing to feel that we are dressed for success. No, as long as we are put well together, you know, that we look professional, that we look crisp, you know, that we look presentable, and we do our best. Our hair is done well, you know, if it's a man, a nice tie, a crisp shirt, you know, shoes that shine for both male and female. As long as we are ready, you know, to be professional and to look professional, that's what matters. But whenever we talk or whatever post we put, we can never know who's going to see it. And because of that little post will say, I want that person to come and do this in my organization. Or a person that meets you somewhere and will hire you to do business for them. And that's why always be ready. Last but not least, mindset number 10, prepare for loneliness for a while. As entrepreneurs, if we are used to work in a big office and big businesses, you know, you're not going to have that anymore. You're going to be by yourself working long hours in isolation. It will get lonely. And that's why this is part that can bring you down. And that's why you need to know your why. And whenever you get to that low level, pick up your why, even if you have to put it on a notepad or a post-it note in front of you, like my why, to remind yourself why you're doing what you're doing. And this is not a bad thing, by the way. I mean, we can feel lonely in a group of 100 people, but at least if we feel lonely in that, we know we keep our eye on the ball. We keep our eye on the results that we want to do, that we want to have, on our success in life, on how we're going to provide for our family, on how we're going to have a better life. So all this we can manage. So there are required traits, there are plenty of them, but I picked up the top ones that we need to have in an entrepreneur, because mindset is different. Mindset is something that you work on day after day. But there are things that have to be in you or you built that call traits or characters that you need to have. Number one is like you have to have a very clear vision. And we use the other word vision in our eyes. So a vision, your vision for the future has to be something that you can actually see in front of your eyes. And if you don't visualize it, it will be very hard to achieve. And in another webinar, we did the visualization exercise, and we talked about vision boards and why they are important. So vision is the gift of being able to see how you're going to look in the future or how to move into the future. And it gives you clarity on what path to take into your future. And it's this inspiration that will keep pushing you forward. And we all have fears. We all have insecurities. But what we do with them, we all have fears and uncertainty, because this is how our brain is programmed to protect us, to keep us from what it perceives as danger. And in this case, it's the change. And that's why, like I always say, from the lower level, that is the danger assessment part of our brain, to the upper level of our brain where we can analytically think, it takes 30 seconds before everything is hijacked here on the lower level. So we can overcome these 30 seconds by doing deep breathing, like 5 to 6 times. And deep breathing is like you sit straight through your nose, you take in a count of 4, you hold it, count of 4, you release it from your mouth, count of 8. So like, and you do that 5 to 6 times. 30 seconds, that's all it takes for you to kick that fear and to kick that insecurity. If you don't have a vision, it's like basically going on a journey without having a map. Number 2, you have to have a drive and be focused no matter what happens. Life will throw things at you. We cannot control it, but we can control our reaction, right? Like right now, we are all thrown out of our comfort zone with COVID-19 or coronavirus. But what are we focusing on? I know exactly who I want to be after this. And that's what I do every single day. And I have that drive, I have that push, that my motivation, that I want to do good, because I always want to have an impact on the people around me. So when you have a drive and you focus, you don't get through distraction. And we live in a very destructive world around us. I stopped watching news. I just go at the end of the day and I follow CDC or whatever, so I don't get hyper alert, and with all that, because it was starting to stress me out. Focus on your goal, persevere, and always that drive or your why will push you forward. Have passion, and we spoke about that before. Entrepreneurs genuinely love their work, and we talked about passion. That is what we call the state of flow. Is like when you're working, you don't even notice time. You don't notice environment. Like today I have webinar after webinar till the end of the day, and I have been really looking forward for it, because this is what I love to do. So I don't feel the time. I'm okay with that. It's like your passion is what will make you put all this effort and this commitment and this perseverance, because you know that there is a light at the end of the tunnel. Passion is what will let you wake up in the morning and keep doing what you're doing, no matter how hard it is. So we need to find our passion and ignite it. The last trait that is very important is to have positive attitude. Like I said, we cannot control what life is throwing at us, but we can control 100% how we react. And the conditions are not going to change. You have a positive attitude or negative attitude, whatever we are going through now is the same. So it's a choice that you make. You can have a negative attitude and everything is doom and gloom, and you will stay put in your position, and at the end of the coronavirus, people will remember who has been there for them, and people will remember who wasn't there for them. So a positive attitude, and I'm not saying say, hey, and jump up and down, but at least know that there is always a light at the end of the tunnel. Where I come from, we always say, no matter how dark the night gets, the sun will always come out. No matter how dark the night gets, the sun will always come out. And I rather see my word that way. Like even in Alaska, or I think it's Alaska, when they have 6 months of darkness, the sun comes out after that. So there is always light at the end of the tunnel. Don't let whatever we are going through let you stand in your own place. Your positive attitude is the only thing that is going to push you forward. It will help you focus on desired activities. The positive people are the people that say, okay, this is a situation that I'm going through right now. I can be doom and gloom and catastrophize anything, or I can look at what is the lesson that I need to learn from it. There is always a lesson for us to learn. And sometimes it's not easy to keep shifting our mind that way, but we can do that by training. We have the will to do that. We are the master of our universe. So having a positive attitude is what can actually will get you wherever you want to be. And you can have, I'm going to give you a couple of tips. There is a great video, a TEDx video by Amy Cuddy. Amy Cuddy. Cuddy. She is a professor at Stanford, and there is something that she calls power attitude or power behaviors. It's like how you can change the chemistry in your body from negative to positive. One of them is go into a mirror, right, and start doing this. No matter how bad you feel or how stressed you feel, when you start doing this in front of a mirror, you will start smiling. Why? Because you are forcing your muscles to be in a smiling action. And what happens when the muscles move, they send messages through the nerves. The cells of the nerves go to the brain and tell the brain, I'm smiling. That means I'm happy. So give me happy chemicals like oxytocin, like serotonin, you know, so it gives you these chemicals to make you more happy. And when you feel that happiness, your body wants to keep repeating it. So this is one thing. The other one is when you go in front of the mirror and you do the V sign like that. Just by doing that, you create your body again to give you positive chemical in your brain and hormone. The other one is the power attitude when you stand and you put your hands in your waist like that and stand tall. So if people are stressed or they're going through a difficult situation or a different meeting, these are the things that you can think of. I have something in the chat, so let me see really quick what it is. Thank you, Leslie. Thank you, Leslie. Leslie has put actually the link for Amy Cuddy into the chat box. It's really a great video. So from idea to concept, how we're going to do that? Before even the business plan, you need to do a business concept. You need to know if your idea is valid or not. And it's okay if it's not valid. You can work on it on different details and make it valid. So before you spend all this time doing data and research and put a business plan, always do a business concept first. So a business plan, a business concept is a bridge between an idea and a business plan. Always start with a business concept. So business plans are great for strategy and key deliverables, especially if you want investors or you want a loan, but you need first to crystallize your business idea. So you need to create what we call a business concept statement. And we're going to go through that. So a business concept statement is basically a one-page document that defines the great idea that you're turning into a business. So it's like your roadmap somehow in one page. So how do we do that? For example, do you think the expression, I'm starting a management consulting company, is a business concept? Yes or no? Wow, I have brilliant people on this call and I love you all. Yeah, no, that's not a business concept. So a business concept is when I say I plan to start a management consulting company that provides strategic planning services to mid-sized businesses in California. Each consulting team tailored to meet the unique needs of the client will provide assessment and planning services to help clients improve efficiency and institute processes for innovation, change, resulting in cost reduction and sales increases. So what did this business concept say? It said what I want to do, what are the services that I'm offering, to who and where. That's the first paragraph. The second paragraph, it does explain the functionality of every team, how they will do it, and what the clients are going to get in result. That's a business concept. So let's go further down and deeper into that. You need to know the psychology of your audience first. I always say marketing is 80% psychology. Entrepreneurs or entrepreneurship is 80% mindset. So you need to start thinking, what is your audience biggest need? What is that they want, that they're looking for in life that they can't find, that you can supply? What is the biggest result of or transformation they want? How can you take everything that you know, your knowledge, your strength, your education, your experience, how you put it in a way that can serve your audience and give them their needs? What solutions you have for them? And most importantly, what is the value or the benefits that your audience can take from you with minimal effort? Meaning, because people don't like to change. So whatever solution you offer has to be in a non-threatening way. For example, why people follow a diet for a while and they fall off the wagon? Because the people that want them to diet, they want them to give away all sugar, to give up, all sugar, give up all alcohol, give up everything they love in life so they can lose weight. And after a while, the brain saying, you know what? I'm not going to do that. You want me to change that much? I'm not going to do it. And that's why people go back to their habits. So whatever you have to have in mind, that whatever you're offering, it has to come with minimal risk of change to your audience. So what is their biggest need? What is the biggest result or transformation they want? How can you package everything you have to give them their needs? What is the solutions that you offer? And what is the value or benefits that you can offer with minimal change or effort from their part? If you answer these questions, you're home free. So these are the steps. First, test your idea. Test the validity, the promise that your product or value will give to people. And so it's not going to be based on wishful thinking. Like, do a focus group, offer your service to 2 or 3 people for free, but ask them that I want your response back so I know how, if what I need to change or what I need to make better. And people, will take it, for free, but it will help you on the long run. It will cut your learning curve and will cut the pitfalls that you can go through. Number 2, Find the weakness. Whatever we do will have a flaw or a weakness. Okay, so you find it first and get a solution for it. They say find the weakness before it finds you. There is no perfection, so it's okay to have a weakness in what you offer as long as you are presenting it. Think about what are you missing and how can you fix it. In sales course that I took when I was younger, they always taught us that we need to start with the resistance that someone will have rather than let them bring it to the table. So if someone tells you, for example, your services are expensive. So in my website, I already have an answer for that. You might think that to hire a coach or a mentor is expensive, but I want you to start thinking, if you stay where you are today, that is not serving you, how much is that costing you throughout your life? So you put the resistance first and you answer these questions because you know what kind of flaws or weaknesses might arise in your idea. And again, testing the idea will help you find the weaknesses. Is it an existing idea that exists that you are putting a twist on it? That's why you need to analyze the market. And sometimes I hear people saying, oh, my idea is so unique, it has never been done before. And guess what? This is when I start worrying. Because if the idea never exists in the market, it could be either it doesn't have a big market or it doesn't have a market at all. It's something that is only in our head, or someone had tried it and failed before. That doesn't mean that there is no space for very innovative first time innovation thing. That's not what I'm saying. But I'm saying, like, it's important to know that there is an audience for whatever you are offering, rather than getting into your mind and thinking, oh, you are unique and nothing else, no one else has done that. So I want you, that's why you need to analyze the market and to see if it's existing. Actually, it's better if your idea has been done before, but you are trying to make it better. That you are either crossing that gap that exists in the market. And it's important to think, do I need a team or I can start on my own? One of the ways, believe it or not, to analyze the market, I can't remember who I learned it from, but it's very effective. If you're starting an idea and you want to know the weakness in that market, or if there is like a gap, go to Amazon. Look at the books that talk about your industry or whatever you want to start. And don't go for the 5 and 4 stars recommendations. Go for the 1 and 2 recommendation, 1 star and 2 stars. And look at what people are complaining about. Or look at people, what are people saying is missing. This is your cue that this is what is needed in the market. Just keep researching that. The last step is analyze your audience. Is there any risks for them? Do they need to change behaviors like we said before? Or is it minimal? Or are you going to take them step by step through the change so they don't feel threatened? So test the idea. Look at your flaws or weaknesses. Look if it's an existing idea in the market, and analyze your market and analyze your audience. So the one-page concept will include this. 1, start with a brief description of your business concept, like 2 or 3 phrases, the essence of what is it that you're doing. 2, market need. Are you filling a gap? And what is that gap? What are you missing? Or 3, you are a solution, that you're solving a problem that exists in the market, and why you are the person to make it happen. And that will come back to your credibility and your expertise. Number 4, what's your business model? Are you an online business? Are you a brick and mortar business? Are you a membership? Are you a sponsorship? Are you going to be working by the hour? Do you have a fixed price for a project? Are you selling units, or a combination of all that? So brief description of what is your business. What is the gap that you're filling, if you're filling a gap? What is the solution that you are solving in the market and why you are the best person to do that, and your business model. Number 5, your value proposition, meaning why your uniqueness, why they should come to you and not go to your competition. And your uniqueness will never be better prices, customer experience, whatever. All that is everybody's value proposition. So you need to find your uniqueness. And like I said, your uniqueness will always come in your story, unless you are offering something that is totally new, that will blow people's mind. You know, so you need to let people know how are you unique and why they should buy from you. Know your competition, because it will give you an idea. They already have done the work. They already know the keywords. They already know how to approach the market. Don't take what they're doing, but put that in your mind and put a twist on it that is yours. But studying your competition will give you an idea about the size and the potential market that you have. So and we say that it's better to be in a market that has many competition than go into a market that has one giant monopoly. And people look at it sometimes in a different way, but it's always good to go in a market that has competition, because this is where you can actually shine. Number 7, you need to know how you will market your product, and always remember the 4 mix P's or the 4 P's mix of marketing. 1, be clear about what is your product or your services. That's the first P. The second P is price, how you're going to price your market. The third P is promotion, how you're going to market it. And the fourth P is place. Where are you going to advertise it? Online, offline, social media? How you're going to do it. So this is how you can do a one-page business concept. And that's it.